Alright, so hi everyone, Darren's here. I'm the founder of Prism Lake and also a computer science student at Southern University. And I'm mostly making this video, or mainly making this video, to showcase a project I'm working on lately, right? And if you follow me on my LinkedIn or my social media, you probably have taken wind of this thing called Prism Lake, in my posts or in my stories if you follow me on Instagram, right? So this video was mostly made to address it and to basically introduce what are the projects that are working on and what Prism Link actually is. Right. So for the past few days and the past week, I've been working on the website. Right. So I developed a website and hosted it on prismlake.com. So you can just go ahead and type it out in your browser here, just simply prismlake.com. It will bring you to this website. Right, this landing page that I developed. So this video is mostly an informative one, where I'm just going to go through what the website is, what content we have, and what are the future plans to be hosted on this website, right? So as you can see, if you just type prismlake.com, you'll be greeted by this landing page with this carousel of words, right? So this basically gives like a headline for basically activities we do, right? We are a quantitative research and prop trading firm, and this is basically like a so-called showcase of what we trade, basically, right? And there's some buzzwords here. There's some actual securities that we do trade, and also some filler content we just put there to increase the effect of this hero section over here, right? So you can go through it. It's just iterating in a loop. And yeah, we are Malaysia's pioneering quantitative research and prop trading firm, and we specialize mainly right now in US equities and derivatives. Right, so the main reason why we decided to go to US equities and the US markets, one, because I'm more familiar with the space, right? I'm the founder and also the chief researcher, so I'm more familiar with the US markets, so that's why we're starting in from there. But we do have plans further down the roadmap to so-called further our research and expertise into Bursa, right? Because right now we identified that Bursa actually doesn't really have the liquidity and the, I would say, stability to facilitate quantitative research. And it's something that we want to do further down the roadmap once we really, get our feet wet and start running in the long run, right? Because right now at this stage, Bursa is still a risk that we don't want to take on at this stage of our initiative, right? So right now we're just focusing on US markets, where to us it has more liquidity, it's more structured, it's more stable, and it's less risky, I would say. So that's the main rationale of us focusing on US markets for now. So this is just a rough description of what we actually do. Quantitative means that we use quantitative analysis, so that is your quantitative finance, quantitative research. We quantify inherently qualitative data. So for example, one segment or one arm that we do is a sentimental analysis, right? And we do statistics and probability from mostly in the options market, right? Because it's a derivative of price action. And there's a lot of data that can be derived quantitatively from options, right? So I'll just leave it at that. Anything else would be getting too technical. And proprietary basically means that we manage our own funds, right? Proprietary in the sense that we manage our own proprietary capital and also principal capital, however way you want to describe it. So that means that we do not manage external client funds, right? This is to protect ourselves, and also just putting out that we're just managing our own funds, our own money, and not susceptible to client funds, basically. So research is a big thing that we do as well. So right now, one thing that we're doing is Prism Intelligence that I'll shed some light on further on in the video. But we also do publish our market research, our market analysis, and for now it's still in an introductory phase, because we also took into account that people in our audience for now, right, since I'm a student, and most people that I'm interacting with are students as well, they're still beginning to invest. They don't really necessarily have the experience to understand the quality or proprietary research that we actually do on the back end. So right now we're just doing introductory research. We post articles, we post papers on investing, and the technicalities of it will be further complexified further down the road as our audience gets more matured, right? So that's the rationale of it. So this one just basically introduces our ecosystem. This is not our official partners in a sense that we are not officially endorsed by them, but it's in our ecosystem in a sense that we use their tools and we use their research, use their analysis, etc., in our content and in our research itself. So, for example, you've Interactive Brokers as our main brokerage apps for direct market access, meaning we use that as our brokerage platform to buy and sell securities. And we also have market subscriptions to Interactive Brokers for real-time data. Bloomberg is our proprietary, not our proprietary, but our research platform that we use to get data and information through the Bloomberg terminal itself. And also Wall Street Journal is just our global news source alongside other news sources that we use that we didn't include in this ecosystem page, right? And Fred is this macro data. Token is our industry networking partner. We are planning to go to Token 2049 in Singapore later on in 2026. And this logo is just to say that we are so-called, I would say, partnered up with them in the sense that we get students tickets to attend Token 2049, right? TradingView is just our platform for charting and data, just for reference. And this is our basic identity, right? This sums our vision, our mission, and our culture over here at Prism Lake. So you can read it on your own free time. But to put it simply, we will strive to be Malaysia's premier US market powerhouse. We identified a gap in Malaysian market in the sense that, one, we mostly do not specialize in US markets. Most of us are mostly focused on the local stock exchange, which is Bursa. And due to my aforementioned points of the liquidity and inefficiency of Bursa, right, we want to be the US market powerhouse because we believe that if we bring the US market efficiency, the US market expertise and analysis and skill set over to Malaysia, there's a big blue ocean for us to capitalize on. So that's why we want to focus on US markets for now, right? And we also identified there's no quantitative research firm yet in Malaysia. And we believe that quantitative research is, one, it's a very fast growing industry. Two, it has a very broad market outside of Malaysia, right? For example, if you look at financial powerhouses like Singapore, our neighbor, Hong Kong, and of course the US markets, quantitative research is increasingly getting more traction and market share in the equity market space, right? If you look at the statistics out there, over 60 to 70% of market transactions are actually made algorithmically through these quantitative research firms. So, for example, of a quantitative research firm is your Jane Street, your Two Sigmas, your Rantech or Renaissance Technologies, your Hudson River, which is HRT, and etc. etc. So this institutions are getting more and more recognized and getting more and more market share. And Prism Lake is basically our take to radicalize that ecosystem in Malaysia and bring it over here, because I believe that we have the talent to capitalize on it, right? So that is just a rough vision and a rough mission statement, I would say, for Prism Lake itself. It's a very ambitious one, but through time, I believe that we have the potential to really capitalize on this market opportunity, right? So you can read it in your own free time, but this is our firm snapshot. So this is based on fiscal year 2024, right? So our 2025 data will be updated when we get into 2026, because right now we still haven't yet finalized our books and everything is still subject to change, basically. So this one is for our fiscal year 2024, which we started operations in, and this is basically just data points for our firm. Right now we're controlling more than 30,000 USD notional value, which means that notional in a sense where we get basically the notional value of our actual portfolio, in a sense where in the case where we control options, and due to the intrinsic so-called leverage that is inherent in options, we do not take into account the leverage and we get the actual principal capital that we actually deployed itself minus the leverage, right? The team right now we're recruiting for our cohort 0, which is our founding cohort, so we just put it as a placeholder here. Community reach in the sense of physical event attendees that we hosted in the past. So personally, I've hosted 2 talks in university level events, and through those 2 events, it has a combined reach of 150 plus attendees that basically attended the event lah. And intelligence basically means the amount of market research that we have posted so far. So right now it amounts to more than 13 articles and research reports, including the ones that are posted on LinkedIn and also Prism Intelligence right here that I'll introduce further down the road. So this is our performance for 2024. Prism Lake, or myself, basically, since I'm the principal researcher of Prism Lake, this basically just means that it is at my own personal portfolio, but it also amounts to Prism Lake's portfolio because that is my portfolio, right? So I managed to return around 70% in 2024 in the year that the S&P 500 only returned 23%. So if you do the maths, that's around 46% in alpha. And, we want to continue this success in 2025 and 2026 further down the road, right? So there's just a short biography, or as I call it, dossier of myself, right? I'm the general partner, I'm the founding partner. The title doesn't really mean anything per se, right? So this is just a introduction about myself, what I do, and you can read it in your own time, right? So one notable fact about me is that I managed to grow my personal portfolio from 600 ringgit to six figures in around 5 years. I've started investing in 2020 during COVID, and since then I've been getting some very notable success in my own investing journey, right? So it amounts, because I do have a DCA habit of depositing my allowance from my parents into my portfolio. So that averages to around 400 ringgit per month, right? So after amounting 5 years, 400 ringgit per month, it amounts to around 60% CAGR throughout those 5 years. That put me into this number over here. Right, and I'm also self-funding from my own Southern University tuition fees, which is around 60,000 ringgit, purely through my own portfolio. So that is a very standout achievement that I'm quite proud of myself for. Right, so yeah, you can read the other content in my own meantime, in your own meantime. But yeah, Prism Intelligence is basically our prop research arm, or proprietary research arm, which means that it is backed by our own research team, right? We do our own due diligence, our own market deep dives internally, and we publish some contents for the general public to refer to, right? Of course, we don't publicize our alpha generating strategies because that is a conflict of interest, right? We don't want alpha decay to happen, and for the interest of our fund, since we manage of our own proprietary fund, we only publicize educational and also market summaries per se, right? We don't go that deeply into what strategies we use, what parameters we use, and what weightages we use, but we do give an basically educational overview of the entire quantitative finance space and also the general market research. And we want to continue tradition of posting daily market reports and also weekly market summaries. And one thing that we're working on right now is to give a general overview of what Prism Lake thinks of the 2026 year when it comes to the market, right? So that's something to look forward to when January 2026 comes and 2025 ends, right? So ready to build the future is, okay, this section basically details our current recruitment that is ongoing. So if I click over here, this is the current open roles that we are open to hiring and recruiting from the general public. So if you're interested in Prism Lake, if you like our vision, you like our mission, you have faith that we can succeed and you can contribute, feel free to apply. If you go over here, this is the rough job description. All of this is just for reference only. It's basically a rough guideline into what we expect that role to carry out. And if you don't find a role that fits you, but you still want to contribute, feel free to apply for the general pool over here, where we'll sort you into your own specific role based on your skill set and your experiences. And for this one, like I said, it's only for reference. If you want to be a quant researcher, but your skill set is not inherent in the current role description, maybe you're more towards generating reports, then feel free to state that in your actual application itself, right? Maybe you're not a hands-on person in the sense where you don't like to do code. Maybe you're more like a math guy, or you do statistics, probability, and maths. Feel free to state that in your application, and we will sort you through your own unique skills and strengths, right? So for example, if I click on apply this role, it will bring you to this application form. So all of this is functional. You just have to put in your real name or your full name, your email, and a contact number that will contact you through. And basically all your supporting information as to why you're interested in the role, and your resume, your portfolio, if it's applicable, right? So it's just a normal essay question that you have to answer. And once you click on initiate application, I will get an email detailing your resume and your basically your essay question. And after that, we'll follow up with an interview to basically assess it on a more personal level, right? So yeah, just to let you know that this is functional, I do get an email, and we will not ghost you, right? No matter if you think that maybe you're not a good fit right now, or maybe your strengths do not cater to our requirements as of right now, we will still mention that. And yeah, our rationale is that we will not ghost you, whether or not you are fit or not, right? So that's something to take care or take note of, right? So one thing I want to highlight on is Prism Intelligence, right? So this one is our basically our, I would say, more active web page in our website, right? So this is where we store our articles, right? So right now, as you can see, right now there's only 2, and this is because we only launched the website like around 2 days ago, so not really a lot of time to produce articles. But our historical articles are on my LinkedIn and also on Prism Lake's LinkedIn. So if you want to look at our historical articles, feel free to refer to those on the platform. But right now, this is basically our Genesis paper, right? This featured section over here details the reason for starting Prism Lake, the market trend that we're analyzing right now. So if you actually click on this article itself, it's a quite long read, around 10 to 15 minutes, and it does contain some technical information of the market. So it does need some understanding of the current market landscape. But I feel like I've shed some light on that, even if you're a beginner. But it takes some understanding as well. And also, if you do not understand, feel free to do your own research, right? That's the whole point, right? We're here to learn. If you find anything that you don't understand, Google is like one click away, right? So this just basically details why the shifting market landscape of investing and equity markets, right? So for example, the first sentence starts off with the thing that I cited just now, which is that the US market or equity markets is getting increasingly more algorithmic, and figures are often cited in the 60-80% range that all the market transactions are actually carried out through algorithms and quantitative research or quantitative finance firm or quant firms, if you will, right? And we go through, the like the title suggests, the structural decoupling of price and value, and why fundamental investing in this current modern market is not as applicable as it is compared to the past century, right? The age of Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, basically the fathers of value investing, and why it is getting more and more decoupled into the stock price of the security, right? It can be a good company, but it doesn't necessarily make it a good stock. So yeah, we go through detail and support our statement with historical case studies, right? For example, IBM versus Standard Oil, and the current market landscape as of today, right? We go into passive flows through ETFs and institutions, and why we believe in the inelastic market hypothesis, and also we shed some light into options, gamma, and how market makers look at the current market regime and volatility, and how that structural flow actually affects equity price movements and the whole market microstructure. So go into detail into all those, and we will want to, in the future, go into more depth into this article itself, right? Because it is actually very inherently technical, and this post or this article only sheds a foundational overview of this current so-called status quo or the current market landscape, right? So this is my most recent article on the recent announcements of Amazon and Amazon releasing their new chips and also its implications on Nvidia. So this is just a preview of the quality and delivery of the articles to come for Prism Lake, right? Right now, I'm still mainly the main stakeholder when it comes to producing these research articles, but as we scale, you can expect a more diverse scope when it comes to articles, and also a more diverse so-called writing style, right? When it comes to article production, right? Because right now I'm the only one writing these articles, so most of the articles will have a certain writing style that it is so-called tied to myself. And yeah, as we scale, as we grow the research team and the report writing team, that is something that you guys can expect. And yeah, so over here it is the live wire section. So over here we so-called produce so-called headlines in real time, right? For example, yesterday there was a false news that Microsoft has reduced their sales targets for their AI related products due to the cited fact that there's many of their sales staff actually missed their quotas for that quarter, right? But after that, Microsoft themselves actually say that this is fake news and rejects that report, right? So due to transparency, we do not remove all those false news that we may advertise. But of course, that is a learning thing for us as well, right? To really filter through the information that we get and publish on our posts. But even if we post a fake news, we will not hide from that fact. We acknowledge it, and that's why we post it as well. That that is fake news, and Microsoft never acknowledged that, right? And a lot of people have also been been swayed by this article because that was from a quite popular source. It's called The Information, and a lot of news headlines also posted about this, and some of them straight up just deleted their articles, and most of them just edited the articles and say, oh, and basically change the whole story. But for our case, I don't really like that what they have done. So instead of just deleting our flash reports, we just state a new one that contradicts that, and you can verify that through the timestamp over here, right? As you can see, the misinformation was posted on 10:30, but our update from Microsoft itself is in a later date, right? So you should also always look at the latest information. And also, this is a macro data update, right? The ISM Service Product Manager Index actually reported a higher or more hotter report than expected, right? And due to the nature of this news, we do not have our own take on this, right? This is mostly just for an announcement instead of informational. But we will have some coverage on certain macros and what it means in our further articles for our educational arm, right? And this is for our subscription, which is currently not not open yet. We believe in the fact that price must strictly equal to value, and as of right now, since you're a new research arm and a new research firm, we do not want to charge yet, right? Whether or not we will charge in the future is a different story further down the roadmap. For now, indefinitely, all of our content and our articles and our research will be free, right? Because that's what we believe in. I want to educate the Malaysian ecosystem to be more mature when it comes to investing and financial literacy, because that's what I personally believe in. I have hope, and I really want to radicalize this ecosystem right now, because as of right now, when you compare to our neighbors like Singapore and like in Hong Kong and of course the US markets, we are still very much a developing nation, and a lot of work can be done to accelerate that progress and really solidify us as a powerhouse when it comes to investing and financial literacy. So yeah, that's our overarching mission that I want to really strive towards, right? So yeah, that's basically it for our website, and I believe I've covered all the contents that I need. So yeah, if anything, feel free to reach out to me through my social media or through the Prism Lake email, prismlake.pl@gmail.com. That is prone to change because I haven't yet created a domain specific email for Prism Lake. But yeah, that is a pending change, right? I still haven't really gotten the time to do that. But yeah, just feel free to send me a personal email at darrensbeh@gmail.com. That's DARRANCEBEH Alliance gmail.com, right? Or you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn or through my Instagram. My DMs are open. Feel free to send me a message or any inquiries that you may have. So that's about it, and thank you guys for watching this video. And yeah, looking forward to contributing to Prism Lake, and yeah, that's all from me. Thank you so much and have a great day.